What's up, everybody? Day 5 Quantum Challenge. Let's get her going. Just kind of recapping how the day was so far. We had one really strong signal early on the 1 minute at 9:43. That was a ripper for like 300 freaking points almost, which is insane. And now we're finally in a range. So this little signal happened in front, hit that 5 minute level. That 5 minute level rejecting. Now we are hovering at the bottom side, and if this breaks here, this holds under 949, we might have some room to go here. This needs to close below this 40, what is it, 48. Let me check my charts. Let me get the charts up. But everyone should hopefully be seeing the same thing here on NQ. It needs to close below here, then you want to see it stay underneath. See how this candle breaks it here in 20 seconds. The DOM is getting very wicked down here. It's starting to speed up. It looks like it's going to go here soon. So I want to see it break it, then retest, hold below, and not yet. Look at that. It's fighting it. It is fighting it. Does not want to close below just yet. I hope everyone's been doing well. Look at that pop up. Look at that. Wow. That's why we wait for candle closure right there. Prime example of why you wait for candle closure and never anticipate. Wow. That ripped right back up. Right back up. Contesting that 46 again with strength. But same thing applies. This is still the range. This whole area here. That breaks that 44.91. That means the uptrend is still going to hold really strong. You've been scalping, Juan? Very nice. I've taken 3 longs off 449 with 2 micros up 90 bucks. There you go, Nick Rev. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Once it broke back above 5, yeah, this is a nice little range area. And back down. Like that level right here. Remember why I don't play the tip game. Prime example of what we're seeing here, right? That level just broke by the tippy tip. Still valid to me, right? Rejected hard. Very wicky down here. Very, very rangy. Very rangy. So you have your top of the purple here. This is your range. Look where it came up to, right? Still kind of battling that purple candle, that bearish candle right there. Still battling that thing. But I'm glad that you're able to identify the range now. Like, I'm really glad. That's important. And right, and what else, right? I did not realize that last challenge video how you guys love that little box thing, because that's something, right? I can see where the crosses are over here, right? You have a bunch of crosses right here, right? That area, that 6970 area, is a major area. It keeps pulling up, keeps rejecting, keeps pulling up, keeps rejecting. and and I honestly should have shown you guys that a long time ago. But here's, like I was telling my wife, I have been in the track where I read this. I've been reading this for so long that I didn't think that was like a major thing. And then when I showed you guys that, it became a major thing. And I was just like, dang, maybe I should have shown you guys that a long time ago. All right, here's another attempted break at 49. That's awesome, Juan. I am so glad to hear that. That's what it's about. That's what it's about, man. About control, being able to read all this, and look at that, popping right back over 49. It's trying to set up. It's trying to set up. This is setting up for a potential pull down here. 2 minutes also breaking its candles right here. That 447 looks like is the bottom of that. All right, let's see. Want to see a break? Strong break. No retest. Wow, she just left. She just left. And I did get in with 1 micro from 73 from up here. Not 73, I'm sorry. From 58. No, wait. Well, no, it was here. It was. Yeah, I did get. I got a really good entry on that. I didn't realize. I was looking for that rejection. My stop loss was right above that purple candle. I had to take a double check. So I did get it from 73. I thought it was a little lower. And $60 up right now. So just one micro. It's all I played it with. Now I'm just holding for the break, and there you go, up $70. But that's the break. There's the retest, right? There's the break and retest. If anybody played that, you're already up 10 points. You're already up 10 points right there. Just scalping the quantum ranges. There's our signal. Let's see if this can keep going here. We'll see if it can keep going. I'm gonna see. There we go. $80 on my one micro. Just like that. Wick that through 434. That has to break that structure from 1040. Let's see. Let's see if it goes. Everything looking pretty good. There it goes. Holy shit, I'm up $90 on that one micro. I'm up 50 points right now on that one micro from that top range retest. And $100. Holy crap, and it trailed me out right there. Okay. Wow. Okay. And if you guys got in on the break, that's still a freaking 24 pointer right there. The break and retest. We've done this many, many times over and over and over again. Your stop loss on this guy could have been up at the 60, right? You could have played it light, 13 points, or the level, or the break back in. You could have picked and choose what your risk was been, but nice, easy 24-point play right there off the bat. If anybody managed to take that. And that pull up might have trailed you out, and that's perfectly fine. Wick at 434 has to break that structure from 1040. Let me see what that structure from 1040 looks like. That's this guy over here. It's breaking it. It's breaking it pretty good so far. But yeah, it has to stay underneath. Let's see, do I have? Nope, I don't have anything major. There's a purple on the 5. It's still uptrending. Still uptrending. How far it can go down is the question. But beautiful, beautiful freaking drop there. Quantum on the options still scat. Look at you, dude. You've been freaking murdering it on the options game, man. 1,200 cash. Let's go, dude. Look at you, man. You are literally scalping options, which is nuts. I see the calls and I see the puts. That's awesome, brother. 610 on that call. Damn, dude. Very beautiful. Very beautiful, man. It's fun. Yeah, that's the dangerous part is that it becomes fun. Look, it's still going. It's still freaking going. I got trailed down in that low pull up. I got $100 on one micro. I'm fucking happy with that. $100 on one micro. I will take that any day. Look at this move. Look at that move. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful setup right there. Look at this. Still going. Yeah. Next area would be that 2 minute at 396, right? Psychological level at 400. Let's take a look if we have any of, no, we don't have any of our candles. We have that level down here at 359. 5 minute has a ton of separation, but it's still holding an uptrend. SPX is trying to fill this gap right here as well. So SPX has a level down here at 851.03. But what a move. What a beautiful move. Look what waiting does, right? Waited, like, could have played the range, obviously, once it broke. That broke. Yeah, another setup there. All right, I just held it. I just held that. I wanted to see if it was going to pop back up. Once that broke, I just held that one micro. Your runner got trailed out. Hey, JBM, doesn't matter, man. You're green, brother. Green is green. You got 110 on 1 mini. Let's go, Brooklyn. Let's go, man. Right off the bat, a beautiful setup. Like, right off the bat. This has room to still hit that 400 area, but I want to watch and see what it does now. Past 50K eval with Apex, not to be consistent. It sounds let's go Roca. Be consistent, brother. Take your time. Get in that funded state. Take your time. It's not a race. You will get that payout. You do not have to get it in like 5 days or 10 days, right? Don't time yourself. Don't time yourself. Look at this dump. Holy crap. And I'm pretty sure because I did, I do use the, P2P gang in here. There was a Fibby Fib. Let's take a peek. Let's take a peek. I want to see. Let's see if his. Yep. Oh yeah. Look at this. The quantum P2P, baby. There it is. I had a hunch because I remember when I was removing this, I had that freaking hunch that it was going to be there, right? And that trigger alone, waiting for the retest and the pull up, you could have gotten a really nice entry on this. Holy, I've been dang. If I had that on, I might have gone heavier than 1 micro. That is freaking amazing. Like I've seen these time and time again. When they both line up, it's free money, like we're seeing right here. Like I always like to wait for the pull up and retest, especially on a big purple candle. That gave it to us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Like you could have played that little scout back and forth, but damn, the P2P quantum baby is ridiculous. Wow. Still going. Look at this dump. Holy crap. That would have been, man, if I held that runner, there would have been 100 points right here. I got in at 73. That would have been 100 points, but it doesn't matter, right? No woulda, coulda, shoulda, but insane drop right here. 58. This is that next level right here. 58 on that 1 minute. And this is attached to a blue. It is attached to a blue. But we could see a wick. This is pulling down very violently, right? You want to be patient. You want the lines to catch up a little bit. This is a pretty violent pull down. Let's go, Ken. Holy crap. Look at that. The P2P and Quantum Baby is insane. When I see that, man, what a play. Right down. Let's see if it breaks here. That was a weak ass bounce, so this could easily break it here. Yep, there it goes. Always look at the reaction at the levels. Remember, the lines are far apart. Very, very weak bounce there, but you saw that wick, immediately broke it. Always pay attention to that. The Dom did start to speed up here. It did start to speed up here, so I'm kind of curious to see if it'll reclaim it before this breaks, but it still has 30 seconds left. This is the bottom of the 5-minute uptrend as well, but it looks like it wants to keep pulling down. Let's see. It's got 20 seconds left. It looks like it's trying to reclaim that 58.50 right now, and the Dom is going buck wild right now. Very buck wild. All right, let's see if this holds above 58 here. Nope, doesn't want to. It's looking very weak. Let's see. It closed right on it. Right on it. Now, if it stays below it, this might come down some more. But let's see. Where's the next area? The bottom of the blue. There it goes. Let's see where the bottom of this blue candle is right here, right? The next area would be right there at 328, and then you would have 308. Right, these two right here. Boom, there it goes. There it goes. I scalped that really fast. I got a quick tenor right there. Break of 48, it held. There's your little, like, the retest and everything. Sorry, that wasn't 48, was it? No, it was like up here. I said 48, 58, 58. Why am I saying 48? And these are simple. Level break, the candle that broke, right? But again, this was risky. There's the bottom tap. That's a nice little bounce so far off that blue right there. The bottom of the blue. Look at this. Look at that wick. Wow. Look at that wick and flip right there. A little bit of reaction. Let's see what the Dom's doing here. If it pulls back down, might break back below, but nope. Looks like that candle is trying to hold for dear life. Nope. Pulls back down. I want to see what this candle closes like. This could be the next range spot. Could start ranging inside here too if it does break in. But that was a pretty nice looking wick bounce there, and they're kind of pushing up again. Is this candle going to close up here? It's fighting it. Wow, it's fighting really hard. That was a hell of a short, guys. Damn. Like, look at this. Like, you guys saw it coming. The break, right? The signal came in, the break, the retest. That was like a clean 100-point drop. If anybody held on to just that setup, right? The P2P setup as well on top of that. And this is holding on to this 28 so far. So far, right? I want to see this start to curl up a little bit. So this could be a range area. Look at that. Just bouncing back and forth. This looks like this might be the range area. Let me see what SPX did not hit the next level just yet. It's really close to the top side of orb. I don't have my orb on right now. Let me turn it on actually. I do have it on. Ooh, nice. I mean, you could have scalped this twice right now, but again, I'm being cautious because the lines are still trying to catch up. Okay, my orb's all the way down here. Breaks down. Next area would be 308 potentially. Dude, like you guys see why I have so much fun, right? Why it's like hard to like not find setups. There's setups all over the place, all the time. This is like why I'm semi addicted to this, right? This is my video game. I don't play video games. I play the market. All right, there's a break back in. There's a close inside now. Let's see if we see 308. All right, this is where I wait, right? Little scalp opportunity there a couple times. That's where we would have gotten out. Let's see what it bounces like here. Look at that, right? Again, just like what we saw before. There's a little wick bounce. Didn't look super duper strong, but you want to see it get back over 28 if it's going to keep going. You want to see it reclaim that blue up there. There it goes. Let's see if it'll start popping up here. If it can start closing over 340, we might start getting a nice little push coming up. There goes. Wow, it's just ripping right now. It needs to start holding above 340. Just that's a huge stop. Like, so I'm not even playing a reversal thing here. I'm just watching the market right now. That was a hell of a short. I don't want to give any of that back. But let's see what happens here. That closing. That's a very risky setup right here because it's like 30-point risk. That stop loss will be all the way down at freaking 310, 315. So that's too risky for me to even look at. I want to see what the Dom does as it gets down there. If it does get down there. But it is still pulling down. So until this gets back over 350 as well, this is still sitting bearish on the 5-minute. You know? Let's see. Seeing what the Dom's reaction is like down here at this area. It's not speeding up or anything. Not yet, at least. See what it looks like at 308. There it goes. Okay, it started to get jerky down here. Yep, it's definitely reacting down here at 308. But it looks like it wants to break it. There it is breaking it right now, and there's a meltdown. All right, 308 holds. Same thing. Repetition. Another blue candle break. Another potential down move here. Let's see. Next, top side of orb. SPX is hitting a level, so we want to be careful here too. Wow. That just left. That just left. That was a hard pull down. That just left. That did not even give a chance. So SPX breaking through the next level. I think we're going to have a top of orb touch on both of these things. All right, do we have any more candles to look out for here? Nope, not on the 2, not the 1. Anything on the 5? Nope. Nothing now. Now we just got top of orb to look out. What a freaking drop. Holy crap, guys. This is a 200-point move almost. Almost a 200-point move. Wow. All right, I want to see what it does down here. Definitely down in that area. It's holding on to this 35 currently. All right, so these are no longer valid for me. I mean, we could keep these on here for resistance points now. Like it could come up retest, and if it rejects, obviously. But this looks like it wants to keep pushing to top side of orb, which would be all the way down at 220. But it could start ranging soon. SPX has to break that level next. Keep that in mind as well. SPX is breaking it. Looks like the short is still good. Still going. There's a little pull up. SPX about to break that level here in about 20 seconds. Let's see if NQ follows suit on that to the next level and to top side of orb. What a freaking drop. Holy crap. I was not expecting that kind of a violent drop from that. I mean, I've said it time and time again. The quantum P2P baby is ridiculous, but I wasn't expecting it a 200-point drop. Like, that's freaking insane, guys. Like, that's insane. Like, the timing that we got on and everything was like it was waiting for us. It was waiting for us to get on. Look at that. Mm-hmm. 38. Let's see if you can keep going now. It's trying to curl up a little bit here. The 2 minute is still somewhat sitting bearish. The 5 minute is definitely sitting very bearish. Like very, very bearish. But you know, these pull-ups come out of nowhere as well. SPX is also trying to hold on to that level. I'm looking at SPX. SPX is trying its dearest to hold on to that level right here. Let's see if NQ follows suit. All right. It kind of held it. It kind of held it, and then like the next candle opened up below. Let's see if NQ follows suit here. It's following. There it goes. There it goes. NQ did follow suit. Look at that. All right. Power our confluences, y'all. Look at that. Look at that. See, NQ reacted to SPX. Like that's a hella strong confluence right there. That level popped up, NQ followed. Whoo, what a jump. I caught that for 15 points right there. Very fast. Wow. I'm out. That pullout got me out. I'm done with that one. Beautiful. Look at you. Look at you, Ken. That's a beautiful day, dude. $900. The 10 SMA on the 5. That's cool when the things line up like that, though. Like that, you have a 10 SMA there. You got, you got your own confluences. There's SPX. Little big bluey right there. Let's see if this rips right back over 07 or 08, then 28 for some more pull back up. It needs to start pulling over 310 on the 2 minute. If we're going to see some pull back up, no bluey. So who knows how strong this pump will be on NQ at least. SPX obviously has the big bluey. So NQ is definitely looking a little weaker than SPX. It's definitely looking a little on the weaker side. SPX also has a gap up above that it left. Wonder if it's going to go for that. So NQ stalling out right here where that blue candle previously broke. First time ever to be green 8 days straight. Let's go, Ken. Let's fucking go, dude. 8 days straight of green. See, now you see where the consistency comes from, man. That's the beauty of it, Ken. The consistency has to be there, and when it's there, dude, it's like easy pickings, man. That's amazing, man. Stay consistent, brother. Don't look back, right? You might have a bad day here and there, but don't take that one bad day as like the end all be all. One bad day does not erase your 8 day streak, bro. Like even a couple day streak. Keep at it, man. That's awesome, Ken. So happy to hear that, brother. Like so fucking happy to hear that. All right. Looks like NQ is stalling out here a little bit at 308. Needs to pop back up and hold if it's going to keep going, but NQ is showing that weakness. There it goes. Look at that, right? Look at these taps. Look at these support points turned resistance. Just like all those other things people use, ICT and liquidity boxes and all that fun stuff. Logging on all accounts of paper trading. Very good, C Lobos. Don't let the temptation take away that green. You green, stay green. Everyone, do your best to be intentional about walking away from the computer when ego or tilt start to kick in. Yes, Drew, it sucks. It's very difficult, but speaking to myself one last week, red days, I felt very accomplished and proud to accept the small red and close the day knowing the account was still alive. Amen, brother. I have since received 2 accounts from I have revived 2 accounts from almost popped to above break even and funded one last night. Whoa, Drew, that's huge, brother. That's huge, man. That's a hell of a story right there. Pocketing the greed, ego feels so much better and actually feeds and strengthens the controlled and calm ego. I'll get off my soapbox. Dude, that's a testament, man. Like that's huge. Do you know how many times in the past I have gotten an account to like very bad drawdown, and then I'm like, I'm gonna see if I can bring it back to life with like one or two micros, and I've done that a couple times, and it's very doable, right? But you need patience because it takes time. Look at that freaking rejection off of the. Look at this guy. See, like, look at the rejection from those blue candles that it freaking broke through. Like, this is clean movement. There's SPX hitting top side of orb now. This is clean movement. This is clean. That was your lower high right here. Right, we can identify these points too. This was beautiful about it, that the structure points where they could potentially form. We can really start finding them really easily. All right, looks like we're gonna hit that bottom. My God, this was a huge trade, huge drop. Like I rode that one down for $100, but man, top of orb's coming, baby. What's up, Richard? Top of orb's coming. But right now we have resistance points at 308 and now 277, right? This cross that failed is now going to be a resistance point right here. This is now going to be a resistance point to keep an eye for. So if it does bounce, right, this will be your new little resistance point to keep an eye. That needs to break through and then continue to break through these. Just caught a 150 point move with Quantum. Let's go. That one. Let's go, man. I caught this off the first sell signal. Didn't expect it to keep going. It's nuts, man. This was nuts. And I showed these guys right what the power of confluences does. And that freaking P2P, right, hit right on the quantum candle, right? Retested that the mid area of the candle, held, and then just tanked. I know Llama must have caught this. Like, there's no way he didn't catch this. Or even Coach. That was a clean signal, clean setup and everything. It was all there. The pull up would have been scary though. From 58, it did pull up like 20 some points. That's why I like to wait for the pullbacks, right? You had obviously Quantum and then the stop loss point. And I got in with one micro, but I didn't even know that the signal triggered. Like I turned on the P2P algo after just to see. I wanted to see because I knew there was a level there because I already had, I already identified it. But it was nuts to see that his shit lined up perfectly with mine. Let's see, Dan. I'll be honest. I purchased Quantum and don't know what I'm looking at. Started watching your YouTube videos. Hopefully I can understand it now soon. But honestly, ask questions, Dan. But honestly, just watching your trade and explain is worth it. Dan, ask questions. Go into Quantum chat. You don't get the setups, right? Oh, why did this sell signal not work? Why did this buy signal not work? Go in there, man. We are all about breaking shit down. Like that's what we do. That's where you're gonna learn the most. You're gonna learn the most from forward testing, right? Quantum isn't just about the signals. The signals give that confirmation with reaction to certain areas. But right, what are we looking at? We're only looking at the blues and purples, right? You guys can change into whatever color you want. But we're only looking at the quantum candles, the bearish and purple candles. Then the other candles I care about are the candles in between, are the ones that break those candles. So like the example of the trade that we took up here, right? Obviously, I had the advanced read set up here with the top of the range. So let's get into this little lesson now that we're kind of just watching the market do its thing now, right? So here, right, you have the top of the range, the bottom of the range. Once you start having your blues and purples back and forth, you initially had this blue guy right here, right? Nothing broke underneath it. Then you had a new blue one form. So that moved down here. You had your purple and your blue, right? What else do you have above that purple line, that purple candle, right? Your bearish candle, that 5-minute level. So now you can kind of identify that the short setup looks a little bit better at this point because you have barriers that are preventing you from going up. You have that candle and that 5-minute level, the 5-minute level being a strong level. Once that rejected, right, you got that signal here. So you had your first buy signal that pulled up to that level, rejected hard. Now you have your sell signal. Now you want to start seeing it hold that candle and hold this level. That's what's going to give that area strength. And then you started seeing the retest, the rejection, the retest, the rejection, the retest, the rejection. And this is what we call the advanced read. That level was here at 69.75. So let me repaint it, right? That level was right here, actually right here, because it broke it the first time. So that level's right here at 68 on the money, right? That blue candle right there broke it, right? And if you listen, right, I say this time and time again in Power Hour, I don't like to play the tip game. Why? Because the tip is very deceiving. Look at that break of that level. That was the tip of this blue candle. Immediately pulled right back down. This level or this area to me is still valid, right? You have the crosses that all occurred in that same little area. So even if I put this up right here, that's where rejected, right? This is the little tip that I gave everyone. I visually see where the crosses happen. I don't do this because I already see it. I know where it is, right? But everyone loved this, right? Draw a little box from cross to cross, right? Where those crosses occur on the same space, that's your area to look out for potential reaction, right? If it closes above it and starts holding it, you're going to get a nut move. If it keeps holding beneath this area, right, you're going to get a potential down move. And that's when you identify where the crosses kind of separate, right? You kept having them cross over and over and over again in that same area. And every time it broke above, you had a little push. Broke below, you had a nice pull down. A little bit of a break, nice little tiny little push. And then pull down again until it finally broke, right? The blue candles that we had over here, right? That candle broke these bullish candles, the quantum candles. There's your retest, right? And there's your move. Accompanied was with the signal, right? But this signal painted on this candle. Why? Because the cross happened in front, not behind or in the middle. Preferably, we want it to happen inside the body or behind. When it happens in front, usually the move's already in progress. In this instance, it's set up with the break of the range from quantum. So this was giving you multiple confluences for this to potentially go. Accompanied with that, the level formation, and then obviously the monster move that came after. Okay, so a little bit of a lesson there, right? And that's it. Like that's all you're looking at is these candles, right? The levels in the candles, and then you could play the range, play the chop. You can start piecing things together. Like just identifying these points, right, where these crosses happen, right? What else do we have down here, right? Where this cross happened and that cross happened. Another point now. Like another little point that you have. If it does ever pull back up, this area is going to be an area. There may be some resistance. Okay. Nice little recap on that. Like that box thing, I didn't realize how big it was going to be for you guys. Like I said, I wish I did it a little sooner. And we're at top of orb now. We are at top of orb. The Dom is going nuts down here. It is going nuts down here, but it did bounce weak. Let's see what SPX broke inside of orb and Q is on top of orb. And SPX is at midline. The action lines are still catching up on the 5 minute. The 2 minute is trying to hold this little level here at 220.50. Yeah, look at that. Held it just a tiny bit right now. This 2 minute needs to start holding above 230, preferably like 235 if it's going to really start pulling up on these lines. The 1 minute lines still look funky to me. Like I'm not a fan of when they look like this. They're really ugly looking, but there goes. There goes, just launching off of the top of orb. The 2 minute is trying to curl up. SPX filling 1 of 3 gaps. SPX is at midline. SPX's lines are also looking ugly on the 1 minute. This needs to start holding above this 220 and start pushing up a little further for a little retest potentially of this area over here where it crossed previously. So everything to do with quantum, Dan, it's levels, right? The levels, the candles, that's it. Everything else in between is what you read for confirmation. And take your time, ask questions, please. Like this is why I do this. Ask away. There's no dumb question. Don't feel like you have to know it all because you don't. Right? I don't use the regular terminology a lot of other fancy traders use. ICT terms, any of that. Look at that launch. Wow. I don't do that. Like I'm, in terms of trading terms, I also have my limits because I don't know all the fancy verbiage that a lot of big name traders might know. because I just look at my same setups and I feed off the same thing over and over again. I feel like I need to actually start creating my own verbiage and be the new ICT guy or something. You know, like look at that launch from 220. He's already up 40 freaking points, and I didn't catch it, and I'm okay with it. All right, it's definitely really quick to learn. Llama was already watching for that shirt. Yeah, I'm sure he was. That's what I'm saying. I'm sure he was already watching that. I saw that level up there. As soon as I saw that 5 minute level form, I was like, "Ooh, this might happen." And I was already eyeballing it, but I was waiting, and then it was obviously ranging. That's why I turned it on, and I was like, "Oh, there it is! Like there it is! There's the llama signal on top of the quantum signal, and those are like free money, like always, almost always free money." But I wasn't expecting it to be such a huge move. Like that move was insane. That was an insane move, like 200 points plus, like ridiculous. And I made my one micro entry up here at 473. I made my micro short entry at 473, and I did not hold it all the way down. I got trailed out when I was up $100, and I gladly took that $100. What point do you not care about past purple and blue when they get broken and then retested and then broken through again? Like that's when I stop caring about them, right? Obviously, we have these points to look out for, right? Where support turned resistance. Obviously, you have that cross down here as well, where you can see where it retested a couple times and stayed below that 77 and continued down, right? Same thing if it does push up, right? We want to wait for that reaction at the previous areas. The 5 minute is still so far apart. Like this needs to pull all the way up almost 100 points to catch up, and that's most likely not going to happen. The 5 minute is going to take its time to potentially catch up. So this is still sitting very bearish to me. Like we could see a lower high again. The 5 minute is like this is like your scalp opportunities that you see on these areas, right? And that's it. You take them, you move on. All right, SPX is back inside. Yeah, back in. Well, yeah, it's back in orb, right? SPX just created a 5 minute level down here, but it is struggling to push up. So the 5 minute creation gave a little bit of a push, and now it's immediately testing it. That's usually telling me that's not going to be that strong of a level. If it breaks through it, then that's the confirmation. SPX back, pretty much created a new orb. Oh wow, that's crazy. This is wild drop, very wild drop. Obviously, I sometimes have trouble knowing when to hold and when to not hold. Um, that can vary with everybody. I do my routine. Like I don't always hold a trade that long, right? I look at where there's going to be reaction. I don't like to hold a trade too long because it could easily flip the other way. You see time and time again, right? This kind of a drop doesn't happen every single day. You're not going to have a 200-point drop in 20 minutes every single day. So you have to be always okay taking something and being happy and proud and not look at the chart and be like, oh, damn, I left so much money on the table, because that is not going to be presented to you every day. There's going to be days where you're going to be like, oh, man, I should have gotten out of that short when I was up $120 and I only took 80 because I thought it was going to keep going like that last time and it didn't. So you want to always keep that in mind. Being able to follow a routine is important. Have your routine targets. I have mine. Mine are 5 and 10. Right? Is 5 my main target? No, 5 is just a mental risk reducing, anxiety relieving target. That's the only reason I have my 5 points. The 10 points is the main target. After the 10 points, everything else is like that little extra treat. Like that's the extra money I collect from that, and I let my runners run, but I don't let that green trade turn red. And sometimes if I get trailed out, guess what? The green trade isn't that green. And it happens sometimes, but the majority of the time when the setup is really clean, those runners run. And I start trailing, right? Especially when I'm sized up like 4 or 5 micros or up to my max 6 on my 50Ks. I can separate those last two so easily. Those last two, I'm going to trail this one right at this level, and I'm going to let the last one breathe a little bit in case it breaks that level. If I go in with 4, I do the same thing. I take my one at 5, one at 10, and then the last one as it going through the level, I'm going to trail this one here, and then I'm going to let that last one see if it can keep going or not. And you got to kind of build that routine of yours, right? It's going to be your little routine that you follow, whether you use ATMs or whether you do it manually. Like I do this manually, it's breaking back inside of orb, right? Everyone's going to have little bit of different takes. But you don't want to be over greedy. You don't want to try to go for way too much. Let's fucking go on the TPT Pro. Damn, Danny. No way, dude. 7K on the Pro? Let's go, bro. That is insane, dude. That is insane. Wow, bro. All right. We are having a hell of a day, man. Hell of a day, Danny. Amazing, bro. All right. Immediately going up to test the break of orb. I was in the long this morning, but I sure wasn't. But I'm content. There you go, Chunk. Be always content. I remember I tried quantum last month and got a bit overwhelmed, and this month I finally decided to study it and actually take my time. And it has been such a game changer to help with patience. Yes, that's what I built it for. Like that's what it helped me do. Right? Like you guys know my story. I did the interview. You guys watched that interview. I was very impatient. Like I had no stop losses. I had this. I need to YOLO everything and build as much up as fast as possible. And all I did was blow accounts. All I did was blow account after account after account. And then once I started really building up the system, I started having way more control. I stopped caring about the big numbers and I just cared about consistency. That's it. That's all that mattered to me. I wasn't resetting the same account 10 times in one day, 5 times in one day. I wasn't buying an account every other day. I was making sure I got some money out of an account first, bought another account with that same payout, and that's how I began my little routine of building accounts. I used the payouts to buy accounts, period. That's it. If I couldn't get a payout and I ran through that payout money, guess what? I'm going to go DoorDash, Instacart, or look for a job or something. Thankfully, that never ended up happening, but that was in the back of my mind. This thing is still going. This is nuts. Always in the back of my mind of, plan B, C, D, E. I remember that. So I was up to day 500 logged off. That's progress, Richard. Absolutely, dude. That's huge progress. All right, don't get that FOMO. You up 500. You made what a lot of people make in almost 2 days of work in one day. Be happy about that. Like it's those are those little tiny thoughts. Those little tiny thoughts that help you kind of keep pushing with these. Like you stop comparing yourself with everyone else. Like you see a guy that had 5K days, and you're just like, well, good for you, dude. I'm happy for you. I'm perfectly happy with what I do. My profit is still great for the day, but I missed 75 points on the long and 200 on the short. That's okay, scat. Right? Not every day it's going to present, and you're not going to get into that FOMO just expecting it every day. Was done long before open today myself, and that is one of the biggest lessons. There you go, Schwab. Exactly. That's a huge lesson and huge growth to be able to be done, and then be able to just like watch the market and not trade. That's huge. In one live, you were talking about the difference between the premium TV option being checked on or off. If we are using the 1 in 5, does it matter if it's checked on or not? No, if you're using the 1 in 5, like I haven't used the 30, the premium is mainly for the 30-second chart. So this is a question I get asked a lot. The little triangle is the confluence that's based for the 30-second and 15-second chart. And that was the main thing that was missing when we did the premium thing. And I haven't traded on the 15 and 30-second chart in like a year and a half, or I don't even know how long now. And that confluence doesn't even matter anymore. It was okay on the 15-second. It was like choppy on the 30-second. And we went over like, Bobby was mentioning yesterday during the podcast, I used to trade off the 15-second, and that's where that confluence came from. But it means nothing on the higher time frames. So it's completely like obsolete. So we're actually going to remove that and potentially add the third levels, or we're going to look at what we can add instead, because that'll clean up some of the data that's in there. But that's something that I haven't done in a while. So you necessarily don't need premium if you're not trading on the seconds chart, but I believe you need at least the essentials for the 2-minute chart. And the 2-minute chart, and this is something again, right? Thanks to Kathy, that triple signal thing. When you see the signals all lined up on the 2, the 5. I don't know if we got it on all. Nope, they didn't line up on the 2, but the 2 and the 5 lined up down here on this guy, right? And then the one lined up right after, right? Actually, no, looks, we have, yeah, slowly after. You have this signal here first, then the 2, then the 5. So this is something when all 3 line up at the same time, I brought this up a few times, right? We brought this up a few times, I think, during the last session as well. When the three come up, it gives a huge move, like really nice moves. When I see the trifecta, and I call it the trifecta setup, there's probably a better name for it. I do aim a little higher. I don't go for the 5 or 10. I go straight for 10 or 15, and then I let my runners run. But that triple confluence thing is huge, and that's thanks to Kathy. Like Kathy is the one that brought this up to me. And again, right, this is the part of dissecting it. Like dissect it, guys. Like look at your confluences, look at multiple time frames, look at something that could help you kind of find your own little niche with it. Like Kathy found her own little niche. It came to me. I looked at it. I'm like, oh shit, this is awesome. And now I'm using it, and I wasn't doing that before. I was just looking at the 1 and the 5. But I still only mainly look at the 1 and the 5. But when I see the 1, the 5, and the 2 line up together, that's where I start paying attention to the 2. All right. I closed out my chart, not to trade, up 165. Let's go, Nick Rib on the 25K. Not giving any other back. Beautiful. Just hanging out with everyone to see, learn. Very nice, bro. I would normally try and grow more, and one loss, and we'll probably tilt. Yep, that's all it takes, right? You're up 150 bucks. You give back 15 of that. You want to make that 15 back, and then all of a sudden it turns from I just wanted to make the 15 back to account blown. Time and time again, right? That's how I blew that freaking big account. Like I was up 16,000 on the account, right? 14,000 of that was withdrawable. I wanted to turn it to 20. The first trade I lost 500 bucks, right? Out of 14,000 withdrawable, 500 isn't much. But because I wanted to make that 500 back, I went tilt. I went straight tilt and blew the whole damn thing. Right? That ended up being the biggest lesson for me. And obviously, if that never happened, who knows if I'd be here? But that was like my biggest lesson was that. We're hitting this level here at 163. Very weak bounce, so not a strong level reaction at all. SPX breaking the orb. Wow, I can't believe we went from breaking top side of orb. Now we're breaking bottom orb. Did Trump say something? Did Trump say something? He must have said something for this. This is a 300-point drop, guys. Holy hell, that's a 300-point drop. We caught that at the beginning of the lesson. That's huge. Oh man, I know Llama celebrating right now too. I know he caught some of this. He probably still writing. I wouldn't be surprised if he's still writing a contract or something. I got this is a sauce box I have down here. What who knows if it'll hit this 108 area and then bounce. SPX might be going for that gap right down here. Does it have more? No, I think this is the last gap down here for SPX. I'm wondering if it's going to race down there. So I'm wondering if this is going to start pausing soon here on NQ. Just not sure where. We were up 100 and some, like we were up 300 points. Now we're only almost at break even on NASDAQ. Like NASDAQ is almost back from being up a shit ton of points. All right. On the eval, let's go Thrive. Let's go, bro. 46 trades, the Maestro way. The Maestro way, that's right. He's got a long ways. Those are rookie numbers. He's got a long ways to go. How long do you wait after a signal is shown to take a trade? When the signal triggers, I get in. Like, it has to be candle close. If all the confluences are aligned and the risk is low, candle close is the entry, right? If the risk is too big, I will like to wait for the advanced read, which is the retest of the level attached to it. And then the risk tends to be reduced. Or obviously, if the move happens, right? If you got in and it just took off and then it comes back to retest, I'd be a lot more cautious because I like for the level to form. I don't want to see the move fully go just yet. I want to see it kind of come down, test it, hold it, and then kind of go. And obviously, I'm going to scalp it. It might not go a long distance because it doesn't always. But if all the other things are aligned, right, it will. But if it's just like a little play here and there, it's gonna give you a decent bounce if ATR is good. Like this bounce off the sauce box was 26 points, but now it's right back to it. Right, building areas of resistance along the way. That 180 now, another bounce, right? Power sauce box, bottom side of orb. Only my students know about that, so But that's the power sauce box aligned with orb. Look at that bounce off the sauce box again, right? Another 20 points. This is where I tend to like scalp some stuff too, all the way to 180 potentially. We'll see. All right, we scalped it, David. Very nice. Up 357 on it, just letting A plus plus setups right now. Let's go, Pesh. Very nice job, dude. Reject the top side. Yep, very clean. Right now it's testing midline, right? What is attached to that midline? That 180 up above. When you have the 1-2 so different than the 5, do you take smaller scalps and wait for the 5? So no, like I'm not generally looking at the 2 minute at all, Schwab. Like I'm generally just gonna be like, if I see the 1, right, I'm looking at the 5 in terms of a potential bigger move. Like I want to see the 5 lines catch up, and then I want to see if the 1 minute is starting to start doing what the 5 minute wants to do, and then I'll take a peek at the 2 minute. But the majority of the time, I don't even look at the 2 minute. It's in here. It's in the middle, but I'm still looking at generally the 5 and the 1. Like I all my entries are off the 1. That's my main. This is my main go-to. All right, the 2 lining up comes in play once the 5 kind of lines up as well. But oh shoot, look at that launch, man! Sauce box, guys. I'm sorry. I know I'm saying it now, but this is quantum session. I meant to. I always try to hide the boxes, but I didn't hide this one. But that's why I do what I do too. The extra confluence, bottom side orb and soft box. You got 2 scalping opportunities and then the blast off, right? Be cautious of this and that signal, right? If it pulls down to test that level, failed bullish move. So always be cautious, right? If I played this, it would have been the bounce of sauce box. That would have been my play there. The 2 minute, the 2 minute looks funky, but I'm not really. The 5 minute is what has to catch up a ton still. Like for it to really start pulling up, right? It needs to go contest 240, which is 60 points away. I don't know if it's gonna get all the way up there. So yeah, so there's if you have confluences swap, right? You want to play off your confluences, right? You're a student, so Saucebox is there, so there's a potential setup on Saucebox bounce. If you can't break back in, there's a potential bounce, right? So that's a potential setup here. But if you don't have a setup like a confluence setup, you want to wait for the 5 to catch up. Absolutely. Like I would want it to come down here to like that 2560 maybe. Like you have some 2 minute levels there. Do we have a 1 minute level? Yeah, we have a stack level down here, all the way down there, right? But if you have the bottom of orb, we have sauce box. We have a level down here at 108 as well. So those are like confluences you can use if you're not. Look at that thing go. Actually, wow, that was a clean move. Very clean move. Took off. No pullback at all. Took off. Look at that. All right, guys, got a little teaser of Saucebox there. Do not look at the trades. So know where the overall sentiment is going to help your scalp spots more selective. Somewhat, like it's hard to say. I don't trade with bias, right? I don't know if this looks like it's still going to come down. I still use the confluences. I need to use those confluences as the main points of why am I entering this trade? Like, why is this area interesting to me? Like, what's there? Like, is there a level there? Bottom side orb, top side orb. Obviously we have sauce box right there. Do I have sauce box and a potential level forming? There has to be enough for me to look at the area as an area of interest for me to take that trade or to even look for a potential trade. If I don't have enough, right? If I don't have enough confluences, I'm not going to touch it. There's just no reason to take it. Oops. It accidentally went up too far. All right. Do not look at the trades that run and say, I should have held that. Exactly, Owen. Look at the times you partial out and turn the, yep. That's why I stopped. Smart move. You will go far. Yep. Still dumping. Take your trade. Do not look at the stuff after. Shoulda, coulda, woulda kills you. It does. Absolutely. Those are big balls. So, too many times where I'd move $100 days and want to make more and take the L. Yep. Then I'd make a dumb move and lose another account. Things. Yep. Exactly. Exactly, Nick Riv. Yeah, when you're like slightly green, all of a sudden the account's gone. You're like, why? Why did I do that? Excellent work, bro. Started when you funded today. Let's go, Schwab. You got my 175 and done. Let's go, Schwab. Excellent work, bro. I'm a newbie. Might need help with that. Okay, Chung. Yeah, so you're very new. Yeah, the ATMs are pretty solid. They are pretty solid, right? But you want to look for those like this. You can mess with the stop losses. There's some good YouTube videos out on there. Like I'm not an ATM genius, or I don't really know how to explain them very well. If I did, I would definitely make a video on it, but I don't know very well about like the actual ATM settings. I just don't use them. I do everything all natural. Just think how many payouts you could have just taking 100. Exactly, Pesh. Love it. Good work, brother. Maestro, can you explain why that blue candle didn't work? It broke the top. What time was this? At 12:08. 12:08. Okay, let's see. Which one? This guy right here? Like this one right here. If you're looking at this one, this blue candle right here, right? There was no cross attached, no nothing. This was just reaction at the top side of orb. Reaction at the top side of orb, right? You had your previous cross that broke that level, right? This level is an area of resistance now. It didn't even come close to hitting it at 262 and immediately flipped around. So here, right, like this signal here versus this here, right? This signaled why? Because the cross happened within one candle. The dangerous part of this signal is that it happened below, right? This was actually a nice push up from 87, went all the way up to 213, so 20 some points there. But you were risking, like even if you got the pullback entry at 81, you were still risking almost 20 points, right? 15-ish points from 81 to 65. I mean, you got a good return on it, but that's slightly riskier just basing off where the cross happened. But here, there's nothing there other than the blue candle for a little bit of a momentum push, but then it obviously rejected, created like a lower high as well. But this right here, there was like nothing there for anything other than a top of orb reaction, right? Bounced off the top of orb. There's your little blue guy. That was the push it gave you. Couldn't really contest that 77 area and then pulled back down. Obviously, once it broke, right? And if you look at this, right, this attached to the top side of orb, it broke top side of orb and the bullish candle. You have your retests on both. Like it lined up perfectly on the break, the retest, right? Whereas your stop loss on this particular play, it could be this candle right here, or it could be that candle right there, whichever one you want to choose for that risk, right? This one would have almost gotten stopped out, didn't, very close, right? You didn't want to risk that much for that pull down. And now we're back to contesting that area, top side of orb, and that previous break of the blue. So these previous breaks of blue, same things with levels, right? When the level gets broken, it flips. It goes from support to resistance. So that area, right? You still want to have it in the back of your mind going, oh yeah, I broke this level here at 73. So if it comes back up, I know that's an area of potential contention. Same thing with previous areas where a blue or purple broke, right? Over here, we had the two blues that broke, and we saw that. And this is how you can start reading where the market can potentially have reactions, right? If you're scalping a little, like you're scalping this cross, you're only going to scalp it up to here potentially, right? I wouldn't scalp a cross out of nowhere though. But you know, this is where you can scalp it to and know that this is going to be an area of contention where it may show resistance because it was a previously a bullish area that was holding. Once it broke, came the other way. Whoops. All right. So everything to do, like, you know, with the market stuff, like, you know, you want to learn to read these movements. All right. And these quantum candles, right? This is why I only care about the quantum candles. These give me those areas for potential movements. So I already knew when I zoomed out, right? I was looking, if this pulls down, what am I looking for? I'm looking for the blues. I'm gonna be like, okay, this is one, this is one. And then obviously this line right here is just that previous cross where that went from support to flip to resistance. And then same thing, right? Now it's breaking above, right? Now it's breaking the two, it's breaking orb, and it's trying to contest that break of that bullish candle. So you want to start seeing it close above, then holding, and then going the other direction, just like an orb, right? If I delete this line, you just have orb here, you still treat it the same way. It's resisting still a little bit, right? And okay, the 5 minute is catching up though. The 5 minute is catching up. This is, if this can start holding over 230, 235, right? It needs to get over this, the 230, 235 area. Looks like it's going to be the area for the 5 minute to start pulling up if it does. But right now, rejection on top side of orb. And again, right, what was the other confluence for that potential rejection was that blue candle that was previously support, now resistance. Same thing. You had two little areas for potential rejection there, which it gave you. The 5 minute is starting to try to point up, so you want to be cautious how much you want to scalp the short as well. Obviously, it is still downtrending. Could it keep going? Yes, it absolutely can. Yep, nothing more bearish than a failed bearish move. Exactly. That's like something I say on Max over and over and over again. Money missed is not money lost. Amen, Miss P2. Miss P2P. I was in short at the top, went break even too soon, then walked away, came back, and it tanked. You know what? Like it happens, TJR. It's okay, bro. Like you caught some of it. If you went break even too soon, you know, there's nothing we can do about that. But don't beat yourself up about it. Like that that's the kind of thought that leads you to the next time it happens, you're gonna leave more breathing room, and then you're gonna end up potentially going tilt, right? Because these moves don't present themselves every day. So don't beat yourself up about, oh man, I got trailed out, right? Like I don't catch all the monster moves, and I'm perfectly fine with it, right? Even if I go break even, or if I went for a 5 point and then it didn't take my 10 and it took me out, and then the move happened. I've had that happen to me multiple times. Guess what? I move on, and then that makes you stronger, makes you a better trader as well. Sit on your hands, David. Don't try. Do it. Hope it helps. Indicator is great for bounce areas or areas to look for potential action. Yep, but there's no guarantee it will go more than mint. Yeah, exactly. I'm so thankful for you for sharing your story, Javi. As long as my first trade is above the minimum needed for the prop rules, I've learned to be okay with that. One and done for that account. I put in my rules 3 losses and switch accounts as well. Hearing the stories processes of the mentors have big part of getting out of my me getting out of my head and being rules based. Yes, amen, Miss P2P. I love that. Exactly. That's what we all have our own little stories. We all have our unique situations, and whatever helps. That's awesome. It's awesome. It's awesome. Like I love that. Could add them range boxes. After your 10 point TP is hit, how many runners do you typically leave? Just depends on the sizing. Depends on the sizing I went in, right? I size by risk. So all my sizing details is pinned in the quantum chat for the challenge. Exact same thing. Like over 10 points, like on the higher side of 8 to 10 to 15 points, I only go in with 1 to 2, and then from 5 to 10 points or 8 points, I go in with 3 or 4, and then under 5 is where I tend to go full size, which is on a 50K 6 micros. I have a suggestion to the indicator update. A line for the bottom of the blue and quantum, and a line for the top of the purple candle. I think would be easier to recognize the quantum ranges. Yeah, I mean it could be. That's me and Owen are always chatting about what we can do, but the problem with we can't add too much data because it's already very heavy. We shared a little bit of yesterday, right? There's a ton of math in this thing, like a lot. Like this isn't your typical run of the mill thing. There's algebra equations to determine how these lines move and everything. It's very complex. So like even the tiniest update could affect it. That's why we look to clean things up first before we make an update. We want to clean something up. And the next thing we're going to clean up is the triangles, but we're deciding what to add to that. Like we're deciding whether we're going to add the third time frame levels, or maybe we'll talk about the boxes, or maybe we'll talk about the range boxes. We don't know yet. But we're constantly brainstorming, constantly thinking of what we can do. So absolutely, if you guys have suggestions, definitely throw them up in the quantum chat. Like put them out for Owen, tag Owen in them, and me, tag both of us, so that we can kind of like copy paste them and then kind of go over them. You just wrote something on Discord. I thought it was one or two things. 68 level. Hell yeah, Chase. Look at you, brother. Very nice. Look at you, man. Keep doing your thing, Chase. You've been killing it. My sister is in here, but she's very shy. She wants to know where she should start to learn about QS as a total newbie. Go check out the YouTube videos. The last couple study sessions have been really good. This one might be a good one to go rewatch as well. Just I went over some of the basic stuff like A plus plus. Um, so that's probably the best way is to start learning it is to also watch me during Power Hour when I'm sharing my charts. But those YouTube videos, the study sessions are the best ones because I answer all of your guys' questions. Um, and she might be like, "Oh, I didn't think about that question." Just like anybody else, why we always ask people ask questions, even if you think they're dumb, because sometimes they're not even that dumb. Like even if they were dumb, who cares? I when I started this thing, I had no idea what any of the terminology was, and I was asking the dumb questions. Now I'm answering the dumb questions, right? We start somewhere, but yeah, I would definitely start my channel and definitely look at those study sessions because I go through a lot of answering questions there. But the trade alongs too. The trade alongs are pretty good actually because I do go over a lot of stuff in there too. Once in the group pinned comments have the manual and saved videos. Yep, and that too. The manual is a big plus for that too as well. The manual is a great tool for that. Do you enter on the first candle reject of the box? Of which box, Trina? Yeah, it was just in the types of scenarios where the lines are just so divergent that these bounces are where I take scalps and try to take out. Otherwise, I might be overthinking the divergence too. Yeah, like there's always opportunity even when there's divergence. But again, you have to have those confluences. You have to have those confluences as well. Like if you don't have the confluences, don't enter. Period. If I don't have three or more confluences, I don't enter. Even if it looks like it might. But if I don't have three things lined up, so don't go. Can you explain how you can pass an account in a day? I never understood that. By YOLOing, Rich. By YOLOing, resetting like 5, 6 times, and then YOLOing again. That's usually the way. But sizing heavy and still keeping in control, you could. I've passed evals in one day left and right by having fun, but I always respect my stop losses. Like I've had past evals where you know what, the first two trades were great, and then the next trade wasn't, and I gave a lot back, and I still end up passing it by still following my routine, and I still look for the lower risk entries when I do size heavy as well. Um, do I recommend passing him in one day? No, I don't. I definitely don't because it sends you tilt very easily because you have to size up heavy to pass them in one day, and I definitely don't recommend that. I use ATMs that I take. I get taken out early sometimes, but being on 25K on Apex with intraday trail, stay in the green. Yeah, intraday. That's what's great about like ATMs, right? When you're trailing, is an intraday drawdown. Like I like to trail pretty closely when I'm doing those intradays. TPT being the main one. Basically, there wasn't a setup bullish for no reason. At the moment, right? At the moment, we're in orb. We're in orb. We are in orb, right? NQ. Obviously, I had Saucebox in play here. NQ hit the Saucebox. Bottom side of orb was very close. Didn't get to it. Hit the box first. Now it's just kind of playing between midline and top, right? So at the moment, it built a new level here, right? 194 between 194 to the bottom of orb. If it breaks 194 to the top of orb, like this 194 now is kind of like your little bitty midline for the mid of orb and the top of orb. Oh, Drew, thanks for that, brother. That's awesome, man. I love these. My son loves these AI stuff. He loves them. Are you always checking to see if the candle closes above or below the action lines on both the 1 and the 5? Depending on where I'm going to make my entry, right? If I'm looking at the 1 minute, I'm looking at the 1 minute. Like I'm mainly going to look at the 1 minute. Same thing with the 5, right? The 5 needs to start closing above this 200 to pull the line up. Like I'm going to be once, right? The 5 minute the 5 minute candle previously just closed. This new one just formed, right? Gave a little bit of a pop, but until this 5 minute starts holding above this 200, it's not going to pull it up anything. It's just going to kind of range. Right now, where you have the big move. What happens after move? It tends to range. So that's what I'm looking at right now. But until it can start pulling above that 200 and start holding it, that's where I'll start looking at the 5. Right. But in the meantime, I'm going to keep looking at my 1. The 1's breaking here, giving me a little buy. But you got to be careful. Top side of orb would be the next. I mean, there's room. If it breaks this 207 as well, right? That's where you could start piecing little areas together, right? Oh, that's a buy signal, yeah, but then it needs to break this, right? If you're willing to take that risk, your stop loss would be right below 187, but it is still in the range, right? To break 206 needs to come up then after that. right? And right now that level isn't even locked in. It'll lock in on this next candle, so that signal isn't going to paint until this guy right here. But there it goes. Even if you didn't, right, your stop loss will still be the same. It almost got you here, pulled down to what, 92, and then ripped up 20 points. That's kind of nuts, actually. That it ripped up 20 points that fast. And then if it closes above 207, then we might see the top side orb again. All right. Top of orb, previous stories probably have to break through action. Yep, trend is still down. Yep, trend is still down. So I'm only looking like candle closures on the 1 for entry, and the 5 I'm looking for candle closures for potential like 5-minute setup continuation usually, if the 1 minute setup presented itself. Look at that. Look at that pull down, right? Could not close above 207, pulled up to 216, hard rejection, back into the range, right? This is your tight range right now. Your tight range is down at 181. And then your next area of range will be 165, but you got orb. So when you are this is the next part about chopping and stuff. Today's orb, in retrospect, at the size of these candles is not that big, right? It is 124. It's a 100-point orb, but look at the size of these candles. It makes the orb look tiny. So keep that in mind when you see these kind of rejection points. But could not break above, couldn't hold above 207, immediately pulling down, right? Now, if it breaks bottom side of, center of orb, next will be down below at 164. But it has to close below that guy. Right now, it just broke that blue guy right there. Already broke it. Now you want to see it stay below 190. But again, you're at midline. So when you're surrounded by levels, right, you got midline of orb, you got the candles, you got the levels. This is where you could easily get chopped up. Easily. Like, even I would avoid this shit. Like, they're big candles too, so you're gonna get chopped up very easily. But you're inside the mid of orb, bouncing between the bottom and the top. You got candles all over the place. This is super chop, right? Let's look at the 2 minute. The 2 minute has built a couple 2 purples here, 116. 5 minute hasn't done anything yet, but the 5 minute won't do anything until it can really start holding above 200. And back up we go. Look at this. Just chop, chop, chop. This is where accounts come to die. This kind of area right here. Midline, huge candles. The candles are huge. They're like 20, 30-point candles each, which is huge. So when your chart starts looking all clustered up and funky, this is just like, nope, no trading for me. Got this, I got that, right? If it breaks below, you got level. I got softbox, obviously, then bottom, then another level. You're gonna be pretty much taking these little jumps here and there, and that's it. And you got to be very, very cautious with your stops. All right, basically there wasn't a setup bullish for a reason. Are there always checking for the candles before the massive step? Woo! Did you print the manuals for the event? No, I didn't print the manuals. I had to work on the presentation, so I completely like lost track of time. Lost insane track of time. Appreciate you guys too, Juan. That bounced off the daily open. Wow, you caught a little bit of that TGR. Nice, Javi. I had a thought that maybe a 1 hour to 4 hour cross might be stronger. So the higher time frame crosses, David, I've tested every single one. And one thing I found out about the crosses past the 5 minute, the wicks tend to be huge. Like, you have to be able to eat up a lot of drawdown to try to catch a potential level hold on the higher time frames, because the amount of time it takes for that candle to close above the level is far greater. So when you're now playing with anything above the 30 minute, you need a whole 30 minutes to go by. And in the meantime, that 30-minute candle is like pulling down pretty good. And then towards the last, let's say 10, 5 minutes, where the candle's about to close, then it starts pulling up above. Then it'll hold, right? But the next candle also will do the same thing, where it'll test it some. It might not wick down as much if it does hold, pull up, and then go. But you have to be able to eat a lot of drawdown on potentially playing higher time frame levels, those crossover levels. They're far riskier, and I've tested them all, and the wicks around them are just huge, like huge wicks. I'm not a fan. All right, the 5 minute did catch up. The 5 minute did catch up. Now be cautious. If this does cross and then immediately pulls back down, I want to see if this starts holding above 200, and then it could go and show some strength on this potential formation here. But it needs to really start breaking and holding 200. Then obviously we need to see a break of top side of orb on this 5 minute. Now that the 5 minute has caught up, the DOM is going crazy right now, and it's starting to pull up over 200. This 5 minute candle has about 3 minutes left to go, and you don't want to see that level get contested once this candle closes. And you want to see it really start holding above 200. SPX is looking all sorts of funky too. All right. Maestro, when do you know when the blue and purple candles are not good enough for a reversal or a pullback on in a trend, or when are they clear to go or good to go? I saw the chop video that you uploaded yesterday, and something inside me just clicked and gave me that aha moment. I got another fun. Let's go, man. So yeah, like okay. So the main thing I want everyone to always pay attention to is where these things form, right? When you zoom out and you start seeing right where these things form, you'll start seeing that they form at the pauses, right? And then when you have one that just forms in the middle of nowhere, right? Sometimes it'll go. Obviously, this purple guy kind of gave a little push, but I like to wait like for the pauses. You see the move, you see a pause, right? This gave a little move, and then here's the real pause that I'm waiting for, and then I'm waiting for that reaction there. So you just by zooming out, right, you can start pinpointing where you start seeing really good reaction or you start seeing bad reaction. The best reaction are reactions around areas of interest, right? Areas where you have other confluences. When you have other levels, where you have something like orb, maybe you have llama's fibs, right? Whatever you may use, that's what you want to base your stuff off. And then you go off of that and look for those reactions of the candles, right? Up here, right, we have that 5 minute level, right? I had my 5 minute level. This blue candle here pushed up. Was it okay? It was okay if you got in on the blue here, but then it pushed up to that 5. Obviously rejected, right? Now you see your purple there, but your confluence here is that rejection of the 5. It's looking decent as long as it stays below it, right? Then you see another buy pulling up, pulling down, just ranging, holding below that 5 minute level, and there's kind of your confirmation. Once it breaks those blues, right? That was the setup that we took at the beginning of the session today, right? That's your confirmation go, like the break of the range and everything, like everything lined up on this. But you have to be aware of what your lines are doing. You have to be aware where the levels are, and you have to be cautious where the crossovers happen, right? Where these crosses happen also determine the risk involved in these candles, right? Like the A plus plus setup, why do I repeatedly say I want it within the body of the candle? Because within the body of the candle gives it strength. If it's within the body of the candle, it's attached to the actual candle. I don't have to worry so much about that level getting retested and potentially breaking that candle I'm using as my guide. So something like this one, right? A plus plus setup all around, cross within the body, no retest, gave strength to this obviously the candle and the level, and it took off. Other example, right? This one happened within the body, happened in front. So the move was already in progress. Let me actually remove this box for now so you guys can see it clearly. Right? Let's remove this. Right? Let's take a look at that 5 minute candle that closed. All right. Looks like it did not close above 200. Looks like it's immediately retesting this area, immediately retesting it. So if it cannot hold this, we're going to get some more move down. If it cannot hold this, all right, let's go back to what we were looking at. I just wanted to take a quick peek. That level is going to form. I think it's going to be a weak level. It might form and then give a little push and break. All right. So A++, advanced read, right? Those are my favorite setups. So here's your advanced read setup here, the retest of the level attached to one of our candles. We gave that bounce right before the open, right? Always take an eye. Always take an eye where these things are happening and where they're forming. This level here at 25,046 was formed right there, right? Right here, right? Broke a previous bearish candle as well. Big pull down, big pull up, came back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, right on the money, and then it took off. Right? Again, Be cautious where they occur. Why, right? What is the difference between these two? Simple. This one is on the wick. This one has the wick. This one, a wick, I still consider the wick as a part of the body. So the wick for me is still a play. This is still part of the body of the candle. This is still attached to it. This is not. So if you zoom in, right, there's zero wick. It's not attached to the candle. So when it comes back up to retest it, it's breaking our bearish candle. Very risky. As soon as it breaks it, right, what do we see? There's your break, no real retest, and it just took off, right? And again, right, this is something that I've found by backtesting over and over and over again. Be cautious of the size of the candles as well, right? The size of the candle does matter because if it's too big of an impulse candle, they get retraced very, very fast. Okay, they get retraced very fast. So I'm always cautious with that because I don't want to risk a big pull down and then some retest. Obviously, this retested over here. Looks like it opened down below a little bit, pulled up with a blue, right? Crossed over again, and then pushed up once it broke the bearish candle. So that impulse move was a failed bearish move. Okay? So always go back and take a look, right? Risky. This setup is risky. Why? Because the cross is below it. Did it play out? Yes, it did. But I still would be cautious. It didn't hit the stop loss. It came right to it. You could have taken a literally like a 1.2 point risk play on this. And I've done it on occasion where I'm like, screw it. Let me just see if it holds it. If it doesn't, I'm getting the hell out of it. But the majority of the time, I know what's about to happen. If it does break through and test that level, that's a failed bullish move. We might start going the other way. Obviously, it held and then it pulled up. You can see a little range form here as well. Right? Here's where it kind of faked you out, where it broke. It looked like it was going to hold, and then it pushed up hard. Okay? And again, right? That's the problem with always kind of eyeballing things. Well, not the problem. I want to say that's the thing, right? No strategy is 100%. So out of like the 10 examples that we can go over, you're going to find one or two of these that don't play out, right? But again, if you know what you're looking at, right? I see a big purple, I see an impulse break, I know what might happen. Even this candle I wouldn't buy on the hold because this is a big candle that needs to be contested a little bit. The big impulse candles almost always get contested. And it did, immediately broke in and then went the other way. So even on something like this, right? Even if I got faked out on it, I would have gotten out as soon as it broke back in. Just because I wouldn't want to hold that for potential stop loss all the way up top. Right? But you'll see this time and time again. Right? Look at this right here, right? Cross happened in front, move was already pushing, came back up, and now this whole area, right? The whole area where the crossovers happen is now an area to keep an eye for. Right? Whether you draw a little box or you put a line through it, that is up to you. Right? Got that little tiny box right here. So this whole area is now an area to keep an eye for. When it pulls up, it'll pull up. But then you have your guiding candles here, right? You have your purple candle over here that it needs to break to continue to go. So that buy signal, cross happened below it. Right? If you look at it, happened below it, pushed up, failed. Next candle tried one more time, failed, and then you had your big push down. Now it started closing below those crosses, right? 48 started closing below, failed bullish move, retest, 3-bar, dump. Patterns repeat themselves over and over and over and over and over and over again. And that's why I'm so consistent, because this is what I'm doing, like over and over and over again. I'm waiting for these. I'm waiting for reactions around areas of interest, whether they're levels or their orb or my sauce box, things like that. Right? A++ setup. Boom, right? Push, pause, and then there's your little pull up. Big impulse candle, so I'd be cautious with that. Cross happened on the bottom side, immediately broke. Bottom side, big impulse candle, immediately contested, broke. Right? You'll see this time and time again. Right? Here, you would have gotten waked out on this guy multiple times. This was what, 3:30 in the morning, London. I'm not awake for London enough. Okay? So hopefully that helps, because that's a big thing that I look at, where they happen. I want to see my Dom was reacting, so I want to see what's going on over here. Oh, that 5 minute level did form. Okay. It did form and it did give you a push up. Not that strong. Not that strong of a push up. Looks like it's still raining. What time is it? It's not even 1 o'clock yet. This is just lunchtime chop right now. So right now holds 180, but it's not looking good. It immediately contesting it, but if it can hold 180, let's see what the 2 minute looks ugly. The 1 minute still looks really funky, right? So right now the 1 minute, right? What do we have here? Right, you guys love the boxes now. Right there. It's your whole little area right here. Wick, 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 wick. Now it's going to form another cross in the same area. So this area right here, right, this 99, 200 basically, this whole area right here is an area. So now it's above. Now will it stay above and go further? 5 minute held that level. This is, no blue attached to the 5. This will be just a pure 5 minute level set up, and now it's forming a potential stack level. If this holds above 200, that 200 area psychological level, obviously holding above that zone here too. SPX has a ton of gaps above. Like, it has a ton of them. So, we'll see. All right. Maestro headed out. All right, Swab. Have a good one, brother. All right. Oh, wow. Look at that launch to the top side of orb. That was very violent launch. The Dom was going crazy for a little bit down there at like the 90s. I think that was the hint of what it was going to do. All right. Ooh, wow. Ripper. Ripping. Look at that. Ripping. 5 minute level formed, and there's that push. Tested it. I thought it was going to break it potentially, but it did not touch it. It actually just hit 184 by a little bit. You don't want to see it top it, but that was a 30 point, 40 point ripper from that 80 area if anyone caught that guy. Saying that video changed me. Only watching for the blue and purple, going back and finding zones. 2 straight winning days. Let's go, Nick Riv. I started with 5 minute chart and marking a line on the blue and purples and haven't been broken. Then go to the 2 minute, and then there's any crosses or unbroken candles by the 5 minute. So then make a box. That's a zone. Then go to the 1 minute and do the same. Sometimes I have a 5 to 10 point zone. That's perfect. And sometimes I have a 20 point zone. Always reacts at them. There you go, Nick Rev. See, that's what I'm talking about, man. Make it your own, bro. Like, I love that stuff. That you're like, you took that little thing and now you're like going in and you're looking for your own little like thing. That's awesome, man. That's awesome, brother. I love that stuff. Like, literally, like, put that stuff in the quantum chat. Like, put it in there. Like, that's how I found out about the triple time frame, was because Kathy kept posting it over and over and over again. Like, post that stuff in there, because like this is the part where they asked me that question in during the podcast. Is like, is it crazy to see your thing evolving? And it is, and it's still evolving. Like, it's still evolving to this day, which is so freaking awesome, because we find these little extra things, And again, right, the little zone alone, like, again, I visualize them, I see them, but I I didn't realize how big it was going to be for you guys, and I'm so glad I did it now. I should have done it a long time ago. Like, I'm gonna say it again. I said it at the beginning. I'm gonna say it again. How big of a candle would you count as an impulse? So when I look at impulse, I look at the size of the candle versus the previous candle. That's how I determine if it's an impulse, right? They're about the same size, not really impulse. When it's like a little candle and then there's a big push out of nowhere that takes a bunch of candles, that's an impulse. And you'll see these. You'll see these appear out of the blue, where it's just a big one that comes out of nowhere. Let's see. It was the last one, right? Like this guy, right? 2 little small candles, kind of, and then just big push down. Then all the candles kind of start equaling out in size. Like, bunch of little ones, big push. Little ones, big push. Let's look anymore, right? This one was technically one big push. Well, bearish looking wick. Level did hold though. But again, right? These pull back quite a bit. So I always wait for these pullbacks, right? There's another one right here. Little candle, big push down. Obviously held that level, held on to that level beautifully. Right. Here's another example. Look at that. Right. Bunch of little candles, big push down, like just randomly out of nowhere. Impulse candle gets retested. Then you start seeing this candles kind of sizing about the same, and there's your good setup. And just go back and see them. You'll see them. You'll see them over and over and over again. The difference between the big impulse ones that play out when they're with around other smaller, right? This is one that did play out, but this was what, 502. I don't know what happens at 502, but I'd be cautious with that every time. Cautious with little push, and then comes back. We could rip some way soon. This feels like it's building. Took that. Runners running. Let's go, JBM. Can you tell us more about the transition from FFF Sim to Pro Live? Pros and cons. So I didn't get to trade my live FFF account, Sema, because I couldn't figure out the Rhythmic thing. And I was going to come back from vacation and figure it out. So when I went to Paraguay, I was like, I'm going to leave the live account alone. And I'm going to go to Paraguay. When I come back, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to watch YouTube videos. I'm going to figure out how to use Rhythmic because I've never really used Rhythmic. And then I come back, and the next day I got an email saying that your live account has been closed because you have not, it's been inactive for a month. And I was like, oh no, I had no idea that you could not trade it for a month. I thought it was live. I thought it would be there. There was no profits in that. I didn't even get to touch it. There was 2,500 that they gave me in there. I didn't even get to touch it. So I contacted them. They were awesome about it. Like they were very smooth about it. Like the other prop that I traded that I went live with first, the first time I went live, I made good money off of that live account, and then I blew it like a month later, and I had to go through the ringer to get an answer from them. So what happens after you blow a live account? They would not answer me. I had to go into their forum, into their Discord, and be like, hey, everyone's asking what happens after you go live. Well, this is what's happening to me so far. I put it out there. This is what's happening to me so far. You guys aren't getting back to me. So if everyone's asking what's happening after you blow a live account, well, here's my experience. And they immediately fixed my situation. They put me back into the eval state. But that left a bad taste in my mouth. I didn't even bother. Tradeify is smooth as hell. They sent me live with like 6,500, did the same thing, made some money. Then obviously when I was moving and stuff and all this other stuff that was happening, had my little bad days here and there. Happened where I made like 7K off the first live. I made like 13 off the second live, and then had fun. Once I got the money out of it, then here's the problem, because even I still do this. Once I get money out of a prop, like this is why I have so many accounts, you start treating that account less seriously. And I shouldn't be doing that. I should be doing this like the same way as I did it back when I started my roots, because I would not risk an account like that. And that's why I went live so fast. But now I feel like I'm trying to avoid going live. This is why I opened up my own little live account for now. But I'm not gonna lie, trading live accounts is scary. Like it is a whole next level of psychology that you got to go through, and you just gotta just do it. You're like, okay. That's why I did it, because I'm like, okay, I gotta put myself in the ringer. I gotta get used to this. But Tradeify Live was great. The transition, they answered me really fast. FFF, like they fixed my situation too. Like I told them, like, I'm sorry, I was gonna start trading it like today or tomorrow once I figured out how to use Rhythmic, and they just put me back on the eval state. Like I got two fundeds, and obviously I sized up, so I got two fundeds right now with FFF, both 100Ks, and they're both sitting at like 3K in profits right now. So I'm taking my time with those. What's that reaction from? Like SPX broke back into topside orbit and so that's my experience so far. I didn't get to trade it, unfortunately, but they handled it way better than my first experience. And Tradeify too. Tradeify handles it very well. Yeah, I oversized and got tilted and took trades where I shouldn't have. Yep, that's what's gonna happen. But you're up now. Very good. I'm stopping here unless we get. Yep. I seeking profits. That account, right? If it was red before and now it's green, don't touch it. Don't touch it. Open an eval or paper trade. But that's a hell of a comeback. Do not give any of that shit back again. Don't touch it. That's $400. Be freaking happy about that. Whatever you were down, right? Learn what happened. If you already knew what happened, learn from it. But don't touch that damn account. I'm using Apex because I feel it's going to help me stay disciplined with all the rules. It does, Dan, and it does. Like Apex, I need to start taking Apex seriously because I don't. I'm not gonna lie. Like I don't take Apex that seriously because of their binder of rules, but I feel like I'm gonna make that my challenge to get a payout from Apex because of that. I've gotten a payout from 8 other prop firms. Apex is the only one I haven't, so I feel like I need to put them under my belt to get a freaking payout. Like, period. Been trading this live account with Lucid, and you're right. I was down 140, up 60, went back to my basics and trying to go slow, and I'm thinking, yeah. Did Trump say something? Ooh, SPX left a couple big ass gaps too. So I'm looking for this. Is gonna test that 5-minute level, or what are we doing here? That's a huge impulse purple too. The 2 minutes trying to curl down. Well, we might get some more push down here and coming by. SPX left a huge gap. That was a violent push down. I saw my Dom go nuts for a second. I was like, I had to take a look because I'm like, something's going on here. All right. Yep, I'm about to call it here. Wow, look at that thing drop. Here's at the 180. And look where the 5-minute rejected, right at the downtrend, like a violent rejection. All right. Maestro, what broker you open with live if you said it already? Oh, it's just it's Tradevate. Just Tradevate. It took like a week to clear the funds, I think. Just about like a week and a half, something like that. Business days. You are right, brother. I'm just gonna watch. Yeah. What is the Dom going crazy you're talking about? Oh, when the Dom's going crazy is the speed of the Dom. So the Dom tends to stay at a certain speed when it is like ranging or when it's just like moving normally, I would say, right? And then the Dom, when it approaches an area of interest, you start seeing reaction, as in it starts speeding up or it starts getting really jerky. Like it starts bouncing around like crazy. And that's where I say my Dom's going crazy when I see that speed up and that reaction. And usually I like to pair that with an area on my chart. So I'm going to be like, ooh, the Dom's going crazy here. Let me take a look at my chart. Do I see something there? Is there a reason for this to react there? That's where I kind of piece that together. But that's what I mean when my Dom's going crazy. So you can't Tradevate live with FFF. Not at the moment. I don't know if they're working on it. I hope they are, but it'd be great. But yeah, trade FFF right now is with Rhythmic. It's what they're using. I get into a zone where I overtrade and don't even know why. Yeah, that's where those hard rules come into play, Venus. Those hard rules, you have to have them. If you don't, right, then we start doing our dumb routine mistakes. And it's important to be able to control ourselves with those rules. But again, right, the hard part about setting rules on your own is that they're easy as hell to break because nobody's watching over you. It's just you. So, you have to be able to stop yourself. And it is not easy, right? Anyone that tells you that's easy is lying because it's not. It is not easy at all. That was like the biggest battles I ever had with myself were with because of that. Like those moments where I would just be like, I know what I'm doing wrong and I know I have to stop it. And I just couldn't. And then I knew my rules were there and I'm breaking them and I still didn't stop. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, why am I doing this? And no one's gonna hold you accountable. It's literally just you. So it's hard to stop that. It's not easy to do. But once you really start like owning up to yourself and you be like, you know what, I'm not gonna be stupid today. I'm gonna really hone up and follow my shit. Then you start seeing like exponential growth. All of a sudden, you're like trading feels like you're invincible. Like you don't care if you lose. If I lose, I can easily make that shit back. That confidence comes in. But because you're following your rules, and it doesn't matter if you have a losing day, because you're gonna be like, I'll make it back the next couple of days. I know I can. Like it's easy. Like here, I'm gonna show you an example of this, right? Because I've been testing my rules. Here, I'm going to show you an example of just that, because this account is from another, and I can't show the prop name itself, because they're not partner at all. But I like to, like I said, I test around different props and stuff. But this one has a daily loss limit. A lot of props are reading off of the daily loss limit, I think, for this reason, because I love daily loss limits, because they save me when I have this account is particularly for that, like when I have these tilt moments. So let me get this email so I can load up, and I'll show you guys this. Let's see, there it is. All right, and the code, and look at where it bounced right off that level. Look at that, guys. You see this? Broke through that zone, bounced right off the level. Now you want to see if it can retake the zone or not. Look at that clean level bounce off 51. All right, so let's go to, there it is. All right, let me show you guys this. All right, this is my PNL. Again, this is another one of these accounts, right? Where if you have like some sort of set loss limits, and this is an account I have fun with, okay, and I still get multiple payouts from this account. Okay. And the daily loss limit has saved me a handful of times, and I've gotten like 3-4 payouts out of this account. Then you'll see the consistency, and you'll see me come back and make it back. And because of the fact that the account stops me from trading, like it stops me. Like and guess what? If it didn't stop me, I might have just blown it. So that's why it's important to have something set there. Have something set there that just takes you out, that just stops you. Because so many times, like again in my past, where I have just let accounts get blown for no reason. Did I have to blow them? No, I didn't. But that's a part of it. I know. I don't take that many trades on this account because I do trade minis on this one. And that's why you kind of see that fluctuation, bigger losses with minis. Kind of like just a reminder, be careful with minis because you see how fast you lose it. But 35 trades, yeah, that's rookie numbers for me. You see, there's days where I had 3 trades, 28 trades. A day where I had 2 trades. I had a day where I had 22 trades. But the alpha one that I showed, there were a bunch of like 100 and something trades because they were all micros. They're all micros. With the minis, it's like condensed. But it's the same. I do the same trailing system and everything. So how's everyone liking Lucid? I like Lucid. Lucid's pretty solid. I can go to try them. Yeah, they're really solid. I like them. How tilted were you? Pretty. Well, I mean, it's easy to go tilted with minis. But like here was the funny part about this account was that I felt fine because I knew it was going to take me out at the daily loss limit, so I didn't have to worry about it. With like on days where I'm like feeling tilty like that, like I don't touch any other accounts. I only touch accounts that have that daily loss limit because I know it's going to stop me. And then when it stops me, I'm like, okay, that was enough fun. And now tomorrow I'll take that account seriously again. And you'll see, right? I have one tilt, and you'll look at it, right? I have good, tilt, good, tilt, good, tilt, good. You see the pattern? Like it's there. It's like it's funny to see it because I looked at it the other day. I'm like, oh, this is funny because like and in the days I tend to go tilt, right? Go look. I went tilt on 3 Fridays. I think was it 3 Fridays? 3 Fridays. Fridays are historically my worst days. 4 Fridays looks like 1, 2, no 3 Fridays, 4. Yeah, so Fridays are historically worst days. That's my little account where I get to like just say screw it. I'll play with my minis on this damn account, and that's it. Yeah, minis is a problem. I do not recommend trading minis on 50Ks, especially. It is a big problem. It's a big problem. And if that account does not have a daily loss limit, you're going to lose that account one day. Easy. Like I told you, if this account type did not have that daily loss limit, I would lose that account that same day. No questions asked. And I know it. And that's the only reason I trade minis on this account, because it's going to stop me. What determines the days you don't trade? Is it you're busy trading other accounts? Yeah, so I do fluctuate I trade 8 props. So I have days where I don't touch my TPTs for a couple days, but I know I have to trade them. So I cycle them. Like I have a couple days where I might just trade Tradeify, TPT, and FFF, and then this day I might just trade, this one prop and this other prop and maybe alpha, and then this other day I'm going to focus on this set. Like I rotate as much as I can. But I also don't copy trade. So there might be a couple days where I'm just gonna focus on alpha today and tomorrow with FFF, right? Like, and that's how I kind of do it. That's how I try to do it. And obviously, I trade on my phone too, so I'm always, on the go and trading. Oh, what I just did there. There's the retrace. It hit 151, and there's that retrace, guys. Live in action. That retrace, that secret menu item on Quantum right here. If it hits that 29, that's that retrace. There were two retrace plays earlier today before it tanked too. All the way up at 389 and 319. There were two retrace plays from this morning. And I posted about it in the Quantum chat if anyone saw that. Because I was eyeballing, I had alerts set on them. And then it happened. And I was just like, wow, crazy. Like to me, I love seeing that kind of stuff. So there was one right up here. That candle that got left alone over here on the 20th. So last week, this candle right here, and then part of this candle over here. This was at 39. This was 360, and right here 319. So these three candles right here from the 20th, from Tuesday. That was just yesterday, actually. Why does it feel like it was so long ago? So these three candles from yesterday were left untraced, and look what it did. Retraced them, obviously launched up a little further. Did it leave one up here? And it left one all the way up here at 449. So within the next couple days or next week, it's a huge move now. It's a huge move. So I'm not expecting it to rip up all the way up there. But again, we see crazy shit in the market. Like the market literally dropped a bunch of points overnight and then shot up a bunch of points. So that's a huge leap. I mean, if it happens right now, that'd be nuts. I mean, like 300 points down, 300 points up. That'd be ridiculous if it happens. But there's the first one, breaks through that, then, I mean, I've seen crazier things, but again, right, I don't like to enter that kind of thing or look for that kind of a big play. Nice AI photo, Javi. We don't, we don't have red days. Oh, I have my red days. I do, right? I take them out on evals. My funded accounts don't tend to take that kind of punishment, thankfully. My funded accounts do not, so they are protected. All right. All right. I had to make myself understand that there is opportunity everywhere, but the patience and the size, patience and sizing down, absolutely smooth. Exactly. Like there's opportunity all over the place. There's no reason to go tilt and to give too much back. Like none. What determines the days you don't trade? It's just being busy and so yeah. So and Fridays historically, right? And this is a part of you guys being aware of your own situations, right? Everyone has a different work schedule. Not everyone lives in the East Coast, so you have to determine what time do I seem to struggle the most, or what time do I seem to do the best, and keep track of that. Like I know Fridays are historically my worst days. I know that. And what do? I tend to take it really easy on Fridays. I have these specific accounts that I trade on Fridays, and I stay true to that. All right. So I don't trade much, just over leverage, starting to trade micros again. Let's go, Lit. That's good, man. And step one is identifying your problem, right? You already know your problem. You're over leveraging. That's step one. Now, what are you going to do to fix it? That's step two.
I was big tilted today. I always blow my accounts on
Friday too. Yeah, dude, Friday is off. And today is an easy day. Days like today and yesterday are easy days to go tilt. Days like today and yesterday. Yesterday and today, big volume, big movements. The ATR has been like 20, 30 plus. Let's look at what it is right now. That means at 20. that's a big ATR. Every candle's moving about 20 points. So two candles, all of a sudden you're down 60 points in just 2 or 3 candles. It's nuts. All right, how many accounts do you have? I haven't counted. I trade with 8 props currently. I think it's 8. I haven't counted them all. And Alpha has 3. TPT. I haven't counted. I have to count. I'm not gonna do the math right now in my head. I have 5 funding next. I got, I don't know. I got like 3 of that one prop. I got 4 of the other props. So 7 of the unnamed props, and then 5 TPTs. I got 4 FFFs, 3 alphas. I think I said that already. Yeah, now I'm not gonna do the math, but yeah, I'm pretty much almost like fully loaded on every prop. How many cards? Yeah, so I don't know if I have 47 or more. How do I get the level lines to stay? Mine disappear. The levels will disappear if they get broken. Right. So these blue lines, I draw them myself. If they are broken, they do disappear. One thing we are going to work. This is one of the updates we're going to work on. We're going to work on the levels not being broken by the tippy tip candles. So that's going to be one of the things we're going to work on. So the level does not. When a level is still valid to me, it should still be valid in here. And we're going to work on that update when we get the chance for sure. Passed my Lucid today and activated it. Made a quick 140. Good shit, Eddie. Step away. Yesterday I took a big red. Oh yeah, yeah. Yesterday and today, easy days to take big red. Rodolph. Thank you, Dwayne. Maestro, what do you give you confidence to DCA in a trade? Knowing where my stop loss is. I don't DCA just to DCA. I don't. Like, I strategically do it. If the risk is too high, I begin small, and I'm already willing to take the L. I don't care if I lose it, and if I'm seeing it pull down to the area where I was expecting to, right? That's why I always begin based on risk, where I begin lightly, and then I leave room to add if it does pull back, but my stop loss does not move. If it takes me out, it takes me out. Guess what? I move on. I move on to live another day. I'm so tilted. I would need a few $100 to get 3K. We were just talking about that, Reaper. It looks like your account is still alive, so definitely stop. We were talking about that, I think, yesterday or during yesterday during the podcast, that when you get really close, you get really anxious, and sometimes you don't wait for the best setups. You just want to get that quick 200, and you think it's going to come quick, and then before you know it, your account's either blown or you're down big. And that's happened to me. That's happened to many of us. I only need to make $20. And guess what? That $20 that you need to make turned into account blown. So it's important to be able to have those rules in place, right? What do I do for me? The 3 strikes. If I lose 3 times in a row, or not in a row, if I lose 3 times in any order, I'm done. I'm done with that account. And that prevents me from turning it to red. I don't want to see it turn super red. But that you have to learn from these days, Reaper. You have to learn from these days. Like, don't just erase a bad day. Don't let that red day just disappear. You have to learn from it. That's true. Because it's happened to all of us. Dan, again. All right, guys. My stomach just started rumbling. I think it's time for me to eat lunch before Power Hour. I have about an hour. Hell of a freaking drop right at the beginning with that setup. That was nuts, guys. Like, that was super nuts. Did not expect that. But that was fun. That was a very fun session. I hope everyone, does okay today. Obviously, be careful with this volatility. It is all over the place. Don't overtrade. Don't go tilt. Control that, right? Control it. And I'll see you guys for Power Hour. All right. See you guys in in an hour or so. YouTube gang, please like, subscribe, follow, hit that the tickle the bells thing if you guys want to get notifications of when these videos come on. And I'll see you guys on the next day for the challenge. Maybe Friday after the morning show. We'll see. All right. So peace out, everyone. It was a pleasure.